is there are speculations that college football will and potentially move to a 16 team, therefore going to be a 24 team college football playoff format. Chad, and I'll start with you on this because I know that the FCS, I believe, is a 24 team format where the first 8 teams get a first round bye. Hopefully I'm not butchering that, but what are your opinions on, staying at 12 or moving to 24? Because here's the thing, if you move to 16, that just means you're going to move to 24. So what do you think?
Yeah, we might be doing a November Madness. I don't know. We're going to have 64. Everybody in college football is going to be playing in this tournament at this point.
All FBS teams are eligible.
Oh, God.
Grambling State's a national champion.
Well, FCS does. Yeah, you're right. That they do an 8-team bye week first round, but it's not based on rank. It's based on conference rank. So like, SFA, it was ranked, I think, 19th, and they got a first round bye. And then there was other teams that weren't ranked and made the playoffs. So it was more, I don't know like this rules specifically, but from what I was getting and from playing in it, it was more like if you were 8-3 or higher, you made it. Or if you had notable wins and you were 8-3, you made it. Like we beat Eastern Kentucky and they were ranked 12th, and then we beat another ranked team. I think they were 9 or something like that. And we were 8-3 and we made the playoffs. And so, FCS has got it down. Y'all need to learn from us, apparently.
That's what people are saying. They're saying they're just going to take it from y'all's book and do the 24
honestly,
team.
I'd be down for it. I mean, I love watching FCS playoffs. Like they have it right. They have everything down to a T, in my opinion.
That's what makes the conference realignment Excel sheet that I made so relevant, because it was a Power 7 format with the Mountain West, or like 2 other divisions that are large, like G5 schools that were super large. So it's like you just take the winner of the G5 tournament or something, maybe implement them as the 8th seed. Yeah. But it's the perfect format.
See, and that gets rid of the G5 stuff, in my opinion, because if you have, you take your best, at this point, it's probably going to be your best 4 or 5 SEC teams, and then your best 4 or 5 Big Ten teams. And I swear on everything, if ACC gets into it, I'm going to be mad. I would rather have the Big 12 over, ACC. I'd rather have Pac-12 over ACC. I can't stand it.
Dude.
There's
Come on, Oregon State, baby.
That is slander. Don't need to belong, all right?
Hey, I'm all for Washington State and Oregon State, all right? A shared conference champions, baby.
Well, there's a new Pac-12.
I sure hope they are.
Yeah, they have like
Pac-12
Fresno State.
Worse.
That's all I got.
That's all I got.
3-man team.
That's updated to 3. No.
Yeah, there's 3 teams.
2 to 3. But it'd probably be more just Power 4 teams, and that'll be way better than throwing Tulane against Ole Miss and James Madison against Oregon. And I'll give it to James Madison. They sort of put it on there after Oregon being with their third strings in, but I just think that'll be a lot better. To be honest, I'm not for it. I'm not for the 16 teams. I think we need to stop, but if it gets to that point, they need to listen to the FCS.
I think you're right. I think no one's in support of it.
I'm gonna have to straight up disagree. Like I'm just gonna don't jump right in. I just straight up disagree with Chad.
Well, I think he's right about one thing, real quick. Is just that if you're gonna do it, you got to follow the FCS. You got to do it like they do, because there's 0 complaints with the FCS as far as I know. But are we in support of a 24 team? No. Period.
The only reason why they're not getting the complaints is because they're not as a nationally, like what's the word I'm looking for? Not on a platform like the FBS. I hate saying that. I know that's probably mean, but like that's just being realistic. Chad, you can see, you literally have it up on me. You have played, I have not. Next question. But no, I just think you got to go 16. And the reason why I say that is because if you look at the last 2 CFP playoffs that we have with the 12 team, the first round buys are 1-7. So literally the first round buys, like kick them out. Like they don't even do anything. And if you look at, let's say, James Madison to Oregon, obviously Oregon was a better team. And then you look at Texas Tech, who had a first round bye, scored 0 points. And then what would have been Oregon, beat the crap out of Texas Tech, then beat the dog crap out of them by Indiana. So it's just kind of like if you go up this list, there's tiers of teams that are just night and day difference. Like there's no point in having like the 24 teams because you'd be like, okay, I have the G5 teams. I have freaking Virginia in there. Oh, I have freaking UNT in there. Like I understand that like you want to give these teams a chance, but realistically, they're just not good enough. Like I hate to say that, and that's why they're obviously upping the conference games. The conference games matter, and obviously they're going to have 3 games where literally it's just like it doesn't really matter. But you got to understand like strength of schedule has to matter because it really shows what the team is able to do throughout the regular season, and if they actually belong there. I mean, I don't even think Notre Dame would have get past the first round. If I'm being honest with you,
I have to agree with Turner.
On that one. So it's just like literally. I think the 60. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You finish what you're saying.
No. You said no. I was just gonna say that like literally the 16-team playoff, you can have the group of 5 teams in there now, and then now you can have literally the whining Irish in there too now. So that's just, it's the best of both worlds now.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is I agree with Turner in that FCS does a good job up to the conference part. When it comes to like we and like it being 8-4 as like 8-4 UNT being in the freaking 16 because they did good in their conference. I get that. I think, but then it starts coming to the questions like what the heck you do with the G5. You're just like what do you do with them? And then it's like you do Power 4. It's almost like you throw. I always thought this idea of when people brought it up with the NFL and the XFL, it was like if the XFL champion won, they should flip with the worst team in the NFL until that NFL previous to that XFL goes NFL and that NFL goes XFL. You do that with the
flipping in and out.
You do that with FCS.
Yeah.
Like, and maybe they'll start getting revenue. I don't know, and that's form. But I agree with Turner on that part because you don't want to have just conference games and then you got Fresno State winning the Pac-12 playing Ole Miss. You don't want that. Like FCS, it's really like everybody can play with everybody because a lot of people will have the same sort of revenue.
Yeah, it's all the same
unless you're North
financial
Dakota State.
platform.
Yeah, like everybody can play with everybody. Like I think SFA put up at the SFA played pretty good against Montana State in my opinion, and Illinois State, who was made history and won and was like pretty much the biggest underdog in the playoffs and got to the national championship. And everybody can play everybody at that point. But I agree with Turner that if we're gonna do that, we need to figure out a way to not have those kind of G5 schools in there. And I'm not giving crap to G5 schools. I think they're great, and Eric Morse at UNT showed that you could do great things at a G5 school like UNT, but it's just
for a time.
Competition. Yeah, for a time. The competition level is just totally different. I agree with Turner on that part.
Yeah, but now you got to think about, okay, now does group of 5 need their own?
No, it's like, what the heck you do with G5?
Well, that's where I keep bringing up the Excel sheet that I have. That we're going to be laying out in the off season. Yeah, but like, just share your screen.
I'll get it for you, boys.
Like the way I have the two largest G5 conferences all aligned into one big like Group A and Group B, into which they're already playing a different sport. They're playing a different sport, scholarship wise, financially, and budget wise, all of that. And they're not going to be able. The revenue sharing isn't ever going to be all the way up to that $22 million budget. So Group 5 has to play their own. The hand has been forced. It's JUCO, FCS, and Group of 5, and then it goes your Pac-12s and your Mountain West, or I guess those are Group 5s. And then it goes your Power 6. But the way that the 16-team playoff is suggested is that the Power 4 conference championship winners get auto bids. They're not first round buys. There are no buys. And then the next are just at large. So, if a G5 school happened to be top 16, which I think this year there might have been one.
There wasn't any.
I don't even think there was. Yeah, it was like James Madison, I think, was the highest.
They were like 23.
Yeah.
But they won their
so, I mean,
conference.
they wouldn't make
CFP.
it.
Mhm.
So at JMU, North Texas, Tulane, none of those teams would have made it. It would have been your Texas, your BYU, your Notre Dame, your all these different cats where you watched them in the bowl games going, man, they look damn good. Like Texas looked really good against Michigan, and Michigan looked decent against this or whatever. And so, or Houston beat the hell out of LSU. So I wonder what they would have been able to do against, winning a playoff game or two. So that's how it would have gone, is 1 versus number 16, which I think would have been Virginia this year. That's interesting to say the least. But going to 24, my biggest problem with it and why I majorly disagree with even expanding past 12 is it creates the incentive of like the NBA where you rest your players and you can save your opportunities for the end of the season because, we can go 8-4 and still make it into the top 24 because, we're Penn State. So if we go 8-4, yeah, we're going to be top 25. You bet your bottom dollar. And you're like, yeah, okay. So if our quarterback gets hurt for a week or two, we're not playing hard that game. The incentive to go undefeated or 11-1 or win your conference championship, you don't need it anymore. So that's my biggest complaint with a 24 team or even a 16 team playoff is it just creates this a less of incentive to be excellent, to be great, to be elite at what you do as a program, and it kind of advocates for mediocrity. Well, golly, mediocrity.
Lord,
So
mercy
you
on
know
my
what I'm trying to
soul.
say. It advocates for mediocrity.
That really
So.
hurt me, like literally listening to you do that.
I'm
And,
sorry,
like, I'm here to correct you this time, which is good.
and I'm sorry.
'Cause
What do you want from me? You
I
want me to
want
say
you-
it again?
I want you to be great, not strive for mediocrity.
Yeah.
Whatever, suck my ass.
How do you remove him?
Now, do we think salary
Ban
caps?
him! Ban him from the stream.
What are you
Yeah,
gonna say,
exactly.
Chad? Before you were really interrupted by Jared?
It's all right. He's the host. He can do whatever he wants. Now, do we think salary caps would work?
Yes.
I would think so.
Yes, they would, and it's what's needed. And like I'm saying earlier, you got 1,000 certified NFLPA agents that are eligible for the college football platform. It makes all the sense in the world just to make it the NFLPA and the players union and to just make a salary cap. And so running backs make an estimated this amount per revenue share and call it a day. Like, I think that's the simplest way to do it is, and your salary cap is based on the fiscal academic year. And it only readjusts every summer to when the last available transfer portal pot is available. Or you can do it in January. It doesn't matter. That might be when because it usually increases every year. Revenue always increases with these universities. So I think it's like 6% every year. So you do this, you get a salary cap and it increases every 6% every year. And the new salary cap is announced, I don't know, February 1st. Then you can appropriate your budgets and re-sign players and give them extensions. And then the players can decide, I want to sign for 1 year. I want to sign for 2 years, 3, 4, however you want to do it. That's my opinion. Turner, what do you think?
I mean, that's kind of where I was going with it too. If you can have a salary cap, might as well include contracts in that too. Because if you just don't have any loyalty with the contract, like now you have now do you talk about trades? Like now we keep going down this little rabbit hole. Like, oh, transfer portal. Okay, if you want my guy, I want maybe another player. Maybe like I want y'all to take over the contract and reimburse me for the money that we paid him for him not to be able to play.
Oh my God. Get this. Okay, oh my gosh, that's an angle I don't think anybody's talked about is trading within college football with salary caps and you're obligating contracts. But think about it. There are no draft picks for compensation. What do you substitute as draft picks? High school recruits. I'll give you 2 5 stars, one from Georgia, one from California for your top sophomore.
Well, then there's no point in like having a whole signing day. You're not even going to be with the team.
Yeah, exactly, because then it's taken away from the player, the high schooler.
You said like the high
You
school.
didn't think that through.
I'm just an object.
Hey, hold on. But you got to think, if you're doing contracts, then you're encouraging trades.
Yeah, but that's the rabbit hole we're going down at this point. Like, we're turning into a junior NFL, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, there's just no regulation. That's what, like, it needs to happen. That's why we keep praising the regulation. It's like, hey, like, yes, do I think college players should be played for their name, image, and likeness? Sure. But, like, they are a student athlete. At the end of the day, student needs to come first.
We're the Avengers, not the Prevengers, right? Yeah. It's not athlete-student, it's student-athlete.
Okay, thank you. But no, that's literally like,
Elite
we're talking about like literally an academic calendar. You see how we're trying to work around school? Like, we're not talking about school anymore. We're just talking about players. If we just talk about athletes, then yeah, we can talk about trading them because they don't have to worry about an education anymore. So, but like, that's the whole thing with that too, is it's like, okay, well, if I'm going to trade you, he is a, bioengineering degree for your 5-star who's going for an art degree. Like, there's just like, there's a whole other tobacco we have to crack open a can for too.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's something with GPAs. If you have too low of a GPA, you lose some of your salary cap.
Yeah, I'll give you my retard for
yeah.
For Fernando Mendoza.
Yeah.
You probably have to bleep that.
No, I don't. Hey, nobody controls what we say. That shit's flying. That's hilarious.
Do like a GPA,
This idiot keeps flunking, so how about you give me Fernando Mendoza?
You can't pass algebra?
Yeah.
It's high school algebra, not even college yet.
You're still in your basics?
Yeah. You're a senior there's 26.
You have 7 tutors.
Physics is a fun class.
You blow shit up, no one asks questions.
You're a communications degree major. What are you struggling with? Talking? Yeah, that's an interesting angle to look at because, yeah, man, because how would you phrase that? And it's like, yeah, I'll acquire this contracted player. I'll take over the remainder of his contract and pay the difference back to the previous school. Like, you can get into all that sort of stuff. And I think like
accounting, that would be a nightmare.
I think you throw.
That's what I was going to bring up a second ago.
I think you throw the whole trading thing out the window until we figure out the GPA part. Because y'all made a great point, student athlete. We're already ahead of the trading part. We got to figure out something with GPA before we can go to trading. Like, how does GPA even, account for anything? I know tons of guys, love them to death, played football with them for 4 years. They couldn't keep up with a 2.0 GPA.
So I'm holding my tongue.
And
Turner encouraged me.
And
I know, I
think once we figure out that GPA part, then we can move to the next step of why the hell they took out the transfer portal consequent. No, I'm just kidding. But let's just figure out the GPA part first, and then we can go in the trading, because y'all kept saying student athlete, and then y'all were like, well, trade. And I was like, are we just missing the student part?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what I was trying to get at earlier. It's just like, at the end of the day, like, a lot of these kids are not going to go to the draft in the NFL. That's like what we're going from a high school to college athletes, which is probably like what, maybe around like 5 to 10%, and then we're getting to like the NFL, which is like top 1%. So do you really think all these kids are going to go to the draft? No, they're going to try to make as much money as they can, and then obviously they need to be able to use that money for like, they're all going to be way more financially stable than I am. Shit, dude, if I could get $500,000 right now and just have it sit in my account, like,
yeah, you got to think an average player. Like,
yeah,
okay,
dude,
he's a middle linebacker, third string. His NIL deal was $125,000 for 3 years.
Yeah, he was a 3-star that came out of Geyer, and he sat all 3 years, played maybe 4 games his senior year, but god damn it, we paid him his $125K, slept him on the ass on the way out, and I got $125K that I could literally just put towards my kids' tuition later down the line. Or put a down payment on the house, because that's something we're all struggling with as human beings.
I could
Yeah.
retire in 12 years with $750K sitting in a Roth IRA.
Yeah, dude.
I think that
the financial investment.
I
That's
think
the problem. Is they don't have any sort of financial advice from anyone.
Agreed.
Right. it should be a
That
requirement.
needs to be GPA, financial advice, trading. I'll put it in that order right there. That's where they need to
You
start.
are automatically required to put 20% of your NIL deal in a 401k.
Beautiful.
I like the
And
way you
then
think.
they got to raise the GPA.
Protect
They got to
kids'
raise
future.
the GPA.
It could be you need to have a certain GPA to transfer. That could be
Yes.
the contract.
That's a great one. Certain GPA to transfer or
Or a
Yeah,
certain
3.0.
GPA to get your
money.
yeah, exactly. To get your
NIL
money.
get your money.
Yeah.
Yes.
You
I
want
think
your
that's a
3
great one.
million? Okay. You
Non-eligible for money in freshman year.
need to make sure you're passing all your classes for the NCAA requirement, which
Mhm.
should be the 2.0.
You know what's crazy?
I think they need a raise because that's absurd.
Well, you know what's crazier
That's
is
fees.
name, image, and likeness isn't even why they're getting paid. Name, image, and likeness was supposed to be the derivation of like a Johnny Manziel. Like the dude's got charisma, he makes content on the side or whatever, and like the jersey sells the name, the image of Johnny, the name of Johnny, the image of Johnny football, and the likeness of the Heisman candidate.
Mm.
All of that poured into one. Jersey sales, merchandise, hats, commercials, Rowback, Under Armour, all this. That's what they're supposed to be getting paid off of. But that's not. They're just handing out money and calling it NIL. That's another big issue.